Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmiao, Shah Bashimar Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great no stone that have taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiao Shai, and including the bishops on down. And the water to them all. Alright? And Yahweh Bashmiao Shai Brakatham, even to the Akim that sincerely furthered his ministry, whom is the 144,000, and to those that follow the ministry, whom is the 1/3, and it's your brother Laban. And I just want to, of course, address, what's been had in the East. Someone has been put to death. The leader of Hamas, which is Hanaya, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And now Israel wants to get down. Iran wants to get down to business with Israel and attacking it. And U.S., as this reads, will certainly defend Israel if attacked by Iran in the wake of a Naya killing, which ties into what? Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. So before I read the article, I got to read first the scripture over here. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And the least of the flock in this case is going to lead America, Israel in this case, whom is the least of the flock, will lead America to having to afflict Iran, which is what they possibly want, so that they can maintain their position in the East, whom I say Israel in this case. All right. And then we already know who's going to come and defend their ally. Russia's going to be there to defend Iran. So it's only going to take one major nation to afflict one of the allies on the other side, which is the Russians. And then the Russians are going to step in there. And before you know it, now you have a full-fledged global war. And that's the purpose of the Lord, pursuant to Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. So now let's get into this over here. You will certainly defend Israel if attacked by Iran in the wake of Hanaya's killing. More dangerous escalation coming from the Pentagon, at least in terms of declared commitment. How many wars or proxy conflicts does Washington want to be in at once? And America and Israel, they want war. All right. And they're going to get what they want. Like the saying goes, be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. But they're going to get a war that they won't be able to control. Because this war is going to lead to prophecy. And the prophecy states that Babylon the Great, which is America, will be destroyed. And we've been saying this for as long as you've known about us, to say this. And YouTube is a witness to this. All right. And all those that have been watching us for years, good or bad, know that we've been saying this for the longest time, right? And reading these prophecies to you. Now the prophecies that we've been reading for all these years are now starting to speak. And just as well as I've said, and now I'm going to say this again, the time is going to come when the prophecies are going to speak and the prophets are going to stop speaking. And this is just the beginning, baby. Israel has the U.S. right where it wants them. They attack an enemy, and the morons in D.C. assure we will bear the brunt of revenge. And this is from Daniel McAdams. Talks about incentive for the ISR to wage war on literally everyone around them. What self-respecting country would put itself in this position? Right, because the politics of America is ruled by the same people, them same gutter rats. All right. So, of course, they're going to play their game. And also, really, what they're playing is the Lord's game, because the Lord has it so that this is very well the case. As large as America is and as powerful as America is militarily, yet they have to stoop down to their little allies such as Israel, which is the powerhouse, the real power behind America, realistically. All right. That is the prophecy. The least of the flock shall draw them out. and make their habitation desolate with them. Now I'm going to read continually. Verse 21. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and at the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. So all of this is going to be actualized. We're going to see this. The vision that Jeremiah had in this scripture over here will be seen. And it's just a matter of time before we see this. Okay? And then the Lord is going to come in the midst of all of that. After the third woe is being had and the destruction of America is being seen and witnessed and experienced, the Lord is going to come in between this. That's why this reads, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle. And what does the eagle do? An eagle spreads his wings when it's flying. So when the Lord makes his second return, he's going to spread himself abroad. The chariot is going to be so ginormous, covering everything in its sight. Plus you're going to have the host of heaven, the angels, right along with the big chariot, the fathership, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that time shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs, as well as it's written in the book of Luke 21, where it mentions that the powers on earth shall be shaken, because the real power is going to declare himself to be the real boss of the planet earth, which he made, as it is written in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, that when you start to see these visions that I have told you, then the highest will begin to visit the world which he have made. And what are we seeing? We're seeing the up and coming third woe, and as well as we're seeing the commotions, we're seeing the uproars of the people. And I'm going to get to that later on. Isaiah 14 and verse 26. This is the purpose. That is purpose upon the whole earth. And what is the purpose upon the whole earth? I tell you what we're going to do. Isaiah 14 and 24. The Lord of hosts have sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, and so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand, as well as his name is Yahweh, which means he is to be, or he is the existing one. So anything that comes in his mind will come into being or existence in this physical reality. And no one will come in the way of prohibiting that. Verse 25, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot, and then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. What is the burden that should depart from their shoulders? Meaning their captivity. All right. So although Isaiah was referring to the Assyrian Empire, but America's that Assyrian Empire reincarnated. Really, America's all of these empires all in one that had a hand in subduing our people. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth in this case. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all of the nations. So when Assyria was destroyed, all of the nations didn't get destroyed in this. So what is this talking about? America in this case. All right. For the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? Absolutely. And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Right. Because the Most High, hence is why we call him the Most High, because he's the highest power. So when the highest power does something, no little powers can come in the way. All right. Good or bad. Remember, this is the Father of spirits. So no spirit is going to come in the way to disannul what the Lord have already preordained. So what's ordained is that this system is going to be spoken of, and then it's going to be in effect. And guess what? Once this system has come in effect and ruled for a time, after that time, it's going to be destroyed. And we are right now in this generation at the precipice of seeing the complete destruction of the civilization. All right. So now I want to back up a little bit, and I want to read what I just read, and we're going to move to another precept. So again, this is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all of the nations. Right? For the Lord of hosts have purpose, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? So when the Lord brings his hand to destroy this place, again, no one is going to come in between that. Otherwise, they will be destroyed. Verse 4, 2 Israel 16, and verse 4, fire is sent among you. And that's what the Lord is going to send, a fire to cover the whole planet Earth. Just like he used water to cover the whole planet Earth at that time. All right? And who may quench it? Now, verse 1, woe be unto Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up thyselves. Or let me say it correctly. Gird up yourselves with cloth, sacks and hair, which you would do to declare your state of mourning. This is what our ancestors would do, which was in the law. Okay? Because a time of great mourning is going to be taking place here on this earth, which is known as the day of the Lord. And it's not going to be a day of light, but rather a day of darkness and thick darkness. Figuratively expressing that it's going to be a day of mourning, and physically will be seen as well. Bewail of your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it have begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. No one's going to turn back what the Lord has preordained. And what's preordained is its destruction, primarily America, which is the influence of the world onto wickedness. So the Lord is going to cut the head off, and guess what? The rest will scatter. As well as that's written, smite the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture. All right. And all of those that have scattered, they're going to be subdued under us, these nations. And they're going to have the right shepherd ruling over them, which are going to be the saints, teaching righteousness, which is in the book of Isaiah chapter 2. So now I move to a different topic here, which is what's currently going on right now. So this is from the skynews.com. Taylor Swift completely in shock over Southport stabbings. And Sky News is just another UK news outlet. The ferocious knife attack took place at a Taylor Swift Dean dance class. And the star said in an Instagram post, the horror of yesterday's attack is washing over me continuously. And she's only lying because, for one, it came out that she's basically backed by two powerful groups. Actually, two powerful groups she's backed by. She's backed by a group which is headed by Dick Cheney, which was responsible for the war in Iraq back in 2003, if I'm correct, which is known as the Carlyle Group, which was in tandem with Halliburton. Okay, and as well as George Soros. So that explains why she's been had by these protestings and, getting involved in politics. And now all of a sudden, at the right place, at the right time, it just so happens that she happens to be there when this incident happened. When a lad stabbed up 3 little ones, which got Britain lit up right now as it stands. How appropriate, man. How inappropriate time. So that's all I got. That's all I got to say with this, man. I just wanted to bring this article out just to bring what I've just mentioned. And to substantiate what I just said, I want to play this video, which she even tells it all right here in this video and let it be known. And what she's going to say in this video is that these two powerful groups have come together to buy all of the music, but that's not the end all. She's basically on lock, stock, and barrel, man. So now let's play this.
Lately, there's been a new shift that has affected me personally and that I feel is a potentially harmful force in our industry. and as your resident loud person, I feel the need to bring it up. And that is the unregulated world of private equity coming in and buying up our music as if it is real estate, as if it's an app or a shoe line. This just happened to me without my approval, consultation, or consent. After I was denied the chance to purchase my music outright, my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. Yet,
So there it is, the Carlyle Group, again, which was responsible for the war back in the early 2000s when they was down there in Iraq, and they profited a lot of money out of that as well. War profiteering group. So, the reason, the original reason why I wanted to speak about that, because I wanted to tie it to the idea that the British government, this is just what was my thinking, because everything is done by design, nothing is done by random, and we know this to be exact in the year 2024, the year of information and all of that stuff, right? And we already know the truth on how these devils get down. So anyway, the aim was to, again, this is my original thought why I wanted to talk about Taylor Swift, who she's backed by, because what they wanted to do is to get the British people to be angry at the Muslims, which that's actually happening right now. Maybe get the people behind the military. Guess what's going on in the East? The leader of Hamas, which is Haniyeh, was killed, and now Iran wants to get down to business with Israel. And the U.S. said that they're willing to defend Israel. And as well as even the UK in this case would have to do the same thing, right? So they need soldiers to defend Israel. Because right about now, you have a lot of the British public that's not willing to serve in the military to support their country because of the corruptness which has been found out, that the British people are finding out in this case. So to win the British people over to go fight these wars, which they usually get the people that's of the working class sect, because they'd be willing to, lose their life because they don't have much to lose anyway, to get behind the military, to fight the war in the East. So that was my original thought. However, maybe I'm correct on that, but the real reason behind this is so that they can pretty much build on surveillance. That was the original reason why this happened on both sides, the Muslims and as well as these far righters, which we're not even a part of. Anyway, all we are is just the men of the Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai, and we're just the outsiders looking into the world. We're not of any part of any political group. All right? We ain't got nothing to do with this. This ain't none of our business, man. But it is our business to report on these things, as well as the men of the Lord are. They're the watchmen and the porters to report on the affairs of the world, because prophecies are going to play out. So that's our business, not to get in the matters of the world. All right. So, yeah, so that's all I got to say right there. We're going to read Luke 12 and verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and neither hid that shall not be known. And therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light. And that which ye have spoken in the ears in the closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. So it's been revealed that you have certain artists that are high-level artists, witches, and warlocks that are really just there to cause confusion. And Taylor Swift, however you pronounce the name, Taylor Swift is one of those artists that's backed by these groups, owned by these groups. And that's why she's here and there and everywhere when it comes to politics and rallying up the protestings that you see going on. All right. So that's all I wanted to bring about. Let's read this. Sirach 21 and verse 19. The congregation of the wicked is like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. Verse 10, and the way of sinning is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. And that's going to be the last resort of this place, man. Is that it's destroyed till there's nothing left of it. First beginning with America, and as well as all around this entire system is going to be brought down to crisp. And when this system is brought down, it's not going to rise again. There's not going to be a third revival of the Roman system. This is it. Psalms 9 and verse 17. The book of Psalms 9 and verse 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all of the nations that forget the Most High. In verse 18, for the needy shall not always be forgotten, and the expectation of the poor should not perish forever. So what is the poor expecting? We're expecting the deliverance from Yahushua. We're expecting the damnation of this civilization. That's what we are expecting. And that is bound to come. All right, so just like I said before, not to jump around the place, but I did mention the real purpose behind what has been had concerning the 3 girls that were that was stabbed by this one lad, was to bring in more surveillance. And remember too, Carl Stammer made it very clear. He didn't budge when he said this. He was asked the question by this woman, right? And the woman asked him, who would you rather work for? Parliament or the World Economic Forum? It was Davos. He said Davos. Right there and there. Which Davos, they want that great reset. They've made that very clear by the leader, the so-called leader of that organization, which is Klaus Schwab. So this reads, Big Brother watch. Civil Liberties Group raise alarm on Stammer's using anti-stabbing riots pretext to roll out facial recognition cameras. Declaring far-right hatred in the immediate challenge for the UK, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announced a rollout of facial recognition technology on Thursday night, sparking warning by civil liberties advocates Big Brother watch about the encroaching surveilling state. And that's why he said in the video, he said, look, all those that were involved in this rioting, and he likened those people as thugs. Guess what? Now what he's looking to do is to find those people later on and arrest them. So now I'm going to see if I can find a video on that. Yeah, this is it right here.
We have had 6 arrests, 1 in Sheffield and 5 in Rotherham, with 1 person already charged and before the court this morning. Please be assured, we expect this number to increase significantly over the coming days. It began yesterday around 11:30 a.m. when a group of 250 arrived in the Manvers area of Wath-upon-Dearne. A further group of around 500 people arrived shortly after. We believe held far-right and anti-immigration views. At the same time, a large crowd began to gather in Sheffield city centre, diverting a number of force resources. It was at this point we began to see an escalation in violence in Wath. Hotel windows were smashed, and there was a concerted effort to cause damage to the interior and serious harm to those inside. There was a particularly sickening moment when a wheelie bin was pushed against the hotel and set on fire, with the clear intent to cause serious harm to the residents and staff. It was known there were people residing and working in the hotel, but the mindless individuals responsible had absolutely no regard for their safety. It was ultimately a disgusting display of thuggery.
Of course they didn't give a shit, man. He was looking to kill them people in that building.
Continuing well into the evening, with our policing operation only finishing around 5 a.m. I want to say a heartfelt thanks.
So she just said what Carl Stammer said, thuggery, the term thuggery. Wait, just continue to play on.
To all those involved from South Yorkshire Police and the many forces who provided us with mutual aid. Our partners in the fire and ambulance service and local partners for their continued support. I would also like to thank those who've already sent kind messages to the force. Officers have worked through the night to begin identifying those involved in these horrendous scenes. Please be assured, if you were there, we will find you.
That's where I wanted to end it off right there. So she said, if you were there, we will find you. So how are they going to be found? Based on the cameras that was shown. That involves the surveillance. You know? That's what this was for. To arrest those people that were there. Now, I mean, just by watching what happened in Yorkshire especially, the police couldn't really do much about it, man. The police was actually outnumbered. As well as you've seen in Liverpool and various areas, Sheffield, Yorkshire to be exact. And as you saw, there was a lack of police power that was there. People were doing as they may. And he couldn't do much. So just imagine when the whole of the UK rises up into that kind of, estate. The police can only but do so much. And this is prophecy, man. 2nd Ezra 16. We're gonna read it. 2nd Ezra 16, and I think it's chapter 15. 2nd Ezra's, for there shall be seditions among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And so what you saw in Yorkshire was a glimpse of that. So when the people really awaken for real, and shit gets really out of hand, what we're going to see is the police are not going to have the power to even deal with the rioting of the people. They're not going to be able to do it. If they couldn't do it in South Yorkshire,
You will be held
then this is very well telling you that even all around the UK, they won't be able to deal with this. Okay? And the police ain't all the way there to really deal with matters like these anyway. Like I've said, they've shown what they've shown in South Yorkshire. All right? That's all I'm going to say right there and there. And maybe the only way that they could subdue the people is by bringing the military units into this, because the police can only but do so much. The police can't tackle these kind of situations. All right? The police is only strong enough to be able to control protests, but not control riots. If the cities are in a rioting situation, you need either the SWAT team or you need the military to be on standby. Those are the only two kind of forces. I would say primarily military power. They're the only kind of power that can maybe maintain, depending on the power of the military, the riots. That's as far as it's going to go. All right. And I'm going to be speaking more about this as well, because, things are looking like it's getting thick outside, man, down here in the UK. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this, and I'm going to be doing more reports on this, Lord willing. So with that being said, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Awashai Bahashem Mahavrakak Wadash, and double honors to the head apostles, and as well as even including the bishops on down, and Yahweh Bashmi Awashai Brakatham to the 144,000, to those that are sincerely preaching this ministry, and as well as to those that are sincerely following it, whom is the 1/3, and it's your brother Laban, and I'm out. Shalom.